Maplewood was the kind of town people called safe, a place where children played until dusk, where church bells marked the hours. But beneath the calm, a nightmare was unfolding. One by one, teenage girls vanished. No ransom notes, no bodies, just empty bedrooms and mothers who refused to believe the runaway explanation. The disappearances grew so frequent that whispers turned into fear. Streets emptied earlier. Parents clutched their children tighter. The truth was unspeakable. The girls weren't leaving. They were being taken, funneled into a human trafficking network that reached far beyond Maplewood's borders. Detective Harrison Gray wasn't new to grief, but these cases unsettled him. His break came with a small object, a cracked phone found near the railway line, belonging to a Dees, a bright 16-year-old whose face still hung on missing posters. Buried in the phone's memory were fragments of deleted messages, cryptic conversations with someone coded only as MC. It was enough to prove this wasn't random. Someone was orchestrating it. Then came the first warning. Driving home one night, Gray's headlights caught the glint of an unmarked black SUV. Moments later, he was fighting to control the wheel as it rammed him off the road. Crawling from the wreckage, bruised and dazed, Gray understood. He wasn't chasing shadows. The shadows were watching him. Gray pressed forward, and the walls closed in. Witnesses who had promised to talk suddenly retracted their statements. An evidence file he had compiled disappeared from the police archive. A friendly officer whispered the truth. "They're inside, Gray. Don't trust anyone." His home was broken into, not for valuables, but for his case notes. On his bedroom wall, scrawled in red spray paint, he read, "Stop, or you're next." But what nearly broke him was the river corpse, his trusted informant, face swollen, eyes open. The message was clear: anyone helping him would be silenced. And yet, the community's grief kept him moving. He remembered one mother gripping his wrist until it hurt, her voice shaking. "Find my daughter. Please, detective. Don't let them erase her." With nowhere left to turn, Gray reached beyond Maplewood, calling in favors with federal security agencies. They set traps, wiretaps, undercover agents, and hidden cameras. The net tightened, and when it finally snapped, the names that fell shocked the entire town. Respected church leaders, senior police officers, even the town's former mayor. People Maplewood had trusted for decades. But the deepest betrayal cut last. The man orchestrating it all, the one behind the initials MC, was Marcus Caldwell, Maplewood's most celebrated philanthropist. He had built schools, funded scholarships, and stood at podiums speaking of hope for the youth. Behind closed doors, he was selling those same children into trafficking routes. When Caldwell was led away in cuffs, some residents wept, not in anger, but disbelief. Their savior had been their executioner all along. The federal sting freed 12 girls, some too traumatized to speak, others clutching Gray's arm as if afraid he'd vanish too. Families reunited, tears spilling in crowded halls. Cameras called Gray a hero, but Gray didn't feel like one. He stood at a Dee's grave one evening, the sound of autumn leaves rustling like whispers. She hadn't lived to see the rescue. He traced her name carved in stone and whispered, "I tried." The town celebrated his victory, but Gray knew the truth. For every Caldwell exposed, countless others still hid in plain sight. The fight wasn't over, and as he looked at the quiet town around him, one thought chilled him more than any bullet ever could. What if the next monster is already shaking my hand?